All right, fourth grade, you need your math book and a pencil. Open up your math book to page number 253, pause, go. Okay, you should have your math book open to page 253 and you should have a pencil in your hand. We're going to do short little lessons because it's pretty basic, and then work on some of the class practice together. And we're going to review a couple other problems on this page, so that means less homework for you. Lucky day. All right, so what we're doing is measuring temperature. And we're going to start out in this yellow box right here. Let me just focus that for you. Do you see it right there? Okay, so measuring temperature, we are working with thermometers and some different things you guys need to know. So some keywords are going to be Fahrenheit and Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius. They are two different things. So let's dive right in. Fact number one, a thermometer is an instrument used to measure temperature. If you've ever been sick, your mom may have stuck a thermometer under your tongue. That's what that is, to measure your body temperature to see if you have a fever or not. A thermometer is what tells us how cold it is outside. That's how the weather channels know. A thermostat you might have in your house that controls the temperature of the inside of your house. So if you're not sure where your thermostat is, ask your parents. I'm sure they have it. It controls the AC or the heat or both. So check that out and see. A thermostat controls it. A thermometer tells what temperature it is. But it's from the same root of the word. Number two, do you see that little circle? Kind of looks like a donut. It's just a little circle that goes up where an apostrophe would go, in that same spot, but just a little circle. That symbol is the symbol for degrees, okay? So if I were to write 5 degrees, I would write 5, this is probably going to be backwards, 5 and then put the little circle there, 5 degrees. Number three in the yellow box, 2 scales used to measure temperature are Fahrenheit and Celsius scales. There are two different units of measurement, or 2 different scales, just like we use feet and other countries use meters, okay, or yards and meters and those different things. So America sometimes thinks that we need to have our own way of doing things, and Fahrenheit is one of those. Most countries in the world use Celsius. America uses Fahrenheit. So whenever you look at the Weather Channel, our temperatures will always be in Fahrenheit. However, when I was in Germany the 2 times that I was, or in Canada, or different areas, I had to figure out, they showed it to me in Celsius, and then I had to figure out how cold or hot it actually was, because my brain doesn't register Celsius because we grow up on Fahrenheit here. So we are going to focus mostly on Fahrenheit, but you are going to learn how to use both because it is important, especially if you travel or to do different things. Actually, the 5th graders have learned how to convert, and there are special fun equations for that you'll get to learn next year. Stay posted. All right, so look at that box there. I want you to look at the box on the yellow page because this is really important, because if you're going to have to memorize these, okay? So put a big star right beside this box in this yellow portion. You need to know those temperatures. You have to know those temperatures, okay? There's only 6 of them. Not too hard, but you have to memorize them. Actually, you need to memorize them today and this weekend, because there is going to be a little quiz on Monday, and I'm going to quiz you again on Friday next week, okay? Twice next week, because these are really important that you have memorized, just like your measurements, okay? So the freezing point of water. When water freezes in Fahrenheit, it is 32 degrees Fahrenheit is how cold it needs to be for water to begin freezing. Like recess, 32 degrees, that's the freezing point Fahrenheit. If it's below 32 degrees, we don't go outside for recess. We stay inside. So that's like the marker there. And in Celsius, it's a lot easier to just 0 degrees. Ground zero starts there. So in Fahrenheit, 32 degrees. In Celsius, it is going to be 0 degrees, okay? The boiling point of water in Fahrenheit, it is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That's how, whenever you're cooking macaroni and cheese or ramen noodles, whenever you boil the water to start to cook the noodles, because you have to have boiling water, that water, do not touch it. Don't touch it. It's 212 degrees. That's how hot it is, okay? But in Celsius, again, a lot easier to remember, 100 degrees, okay? 100 degrees. So Let's just do a little logical thinking. If I were to say what is hotter, 90 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, what do you think? What do you think? Well, let's think about it. 90 degrees Fahrenheit, that's a typical summer day for us, right? Okay. 90 degrees Celsius is right below the boiling point of water. So we can compare it at about 200, almost under 200 degrees, 190 degrees maybe. So 90 degrees Celsius is way hotter than 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so memorizing these comparisons to say freezing point Celsius, 0 degrees. Freezing point Fahrenheit, 32 degrees. You can kind of compare and see if I'm in a different country and they tell me it's going to be 5 degrees Celsius, I can kind of imagine it's going to be like the low 40s, okay? Because it's right above freezing. Our freezing point is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can kind of process and think through like that, okay? It'll take some work, but that's the whole thing. Let's go down to the normal body temperature. Our body temperatures without any type of fever, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. You need to know this because once you start taking your own temperature, you need to know how warm your body is supposed to be on a normal basis so you can tell if you have a fever or not. That's basic human knowledge, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Celsius, this will probably be the hardest number to remember, is 37 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? 98.6, Celsius. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 37 degrees Celsius. Star this box. You're going to need it, okay? All right. You are going to fill in the blanks on your own, okay, for number one, because I want you to review back and look for the answers, okay? Fill those in alone, but let's look at reading the thermometers, okay? This is pretty easy. I have a couple drawn behind me. I'm going to stand up and do that. Reading thermometers is like reading a graph, basically. You just have to figure out what's being shown and what information needs to be given. So if we look at this first one, this is 2A on your page. 2A. They gave us just a little section of the thermometer. So the red tells us that it reads the temperature. It's starting at 20 degrees Celsius is this bottom line and 30 degrees Celsius. So we need to know, what do these lines mean? Okay. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No. What is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. That's more likely. Okay. So it's going by 2 increments. So what we need to do is we need to find the top of the line, and let's count. We're starting at 20 degrees Celsius, 22, 24, 26, 28 degrees Celsius is how much this one says. You can go ahead and fill that in with me. Don't forget to draw your little tiny circle just here, and it has to be a capital C and a capital F, okay? That's the abbreviation for Celsius, abbreviation for Fahrenheit. So you need to have the little circle up where the apostrophe would go, and then your capital C. So let's go over to letter B. This one is in what scale? Celsius or Fahrenheit? Fahrenheit. Good. So let's look at it. We're starting at 50 degrees up to 60. So is it the same? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Yes. So this is just going to the first one. So what's this going to be? We're starting at 50. Add 2, 52 degrees Fahrenheit. I would say, well, don't forget your capital F. So you draw your little circle, capital F. I would say that that's the type of weather we're having right now. But it snowed yesterday morning. My ground was covered. It's crazy. I'm tired of snow and I just want warm weather. I'm sure you guys are the same way. Maybe next week. I don't even watch the weather anymore because I don't want to be disappointed. All right, so that's reading your temperature. You're going to do the next 2 on your own. Now, I do want to practice a couple other things, 3 more problems just in review. So look at number 3. Letter D is where we are. Now, I wrote it up here like this because this is the way you're going to see it on Edmodo. So we're going to practice, and then we're going to put it into how you would copy it down on your paper. Okay, now you have it on your paper, so that's fine, but just focus now, and then I'll give you a chance to do it on your own page. So I have 93, okay, I'm just going to rewrite. 93 is my whole number, space, 1/2 is my fraction. So I'm going to copy it down the same way that I would write a fraction on my math book. The symbol is minus. 87 is my whole number, so I need to line up my tens place, I need to line up my ones place, okay? whole number under whole number, and my fraction is 4/5. Okay, so I'm subtracting these problems. I have everything lined up perfectly, exactly how I need it. Again, a reminder, in adding and subtracting, you cannot add a fraction or subtract a fraction until the denominators are the same. So we have to find a common denominator. Okay, we're going to use our greatest common factors or we're using our least common multiples, okay? So is 2 a multiple of 5? No. 5 divided by 2 is not an equal number. So we need to decide which, let's start with 5. Let's go through our multiples. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2, is, which we already know is not working with 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2, that does work. So 10 is going to be our denominator. Let's do this. Okay, set your problem up to do your equivalent fractions just like that. Okay, can you see that? Let me zoom this in a little closer so you can see it a little better. Okay, you've got your equivalent fractions here. We're getting ready. 5 times what equals 10? 2. 2 times 4 is 8. That's our backward z right there, okay? Let's do the top one also. 2 times what equals 10? 5. 5 times 1 equals 5. So we have 5/10 minus 8/10. Don't forget, we cannot subtract those because 5 is smaller than 8. So we have to borrow from our 93. I'm going to erase this Edmodo number so we have more room to work. Okay, right now I need you, before we go any further, pause the video and catch up on letter D, 3D, okay? 3D is what we're looking at. Pause, go. Okay, so you should have this all copied down by now. Sorry, you can't see my face. I'm a faceless teacher, that's fine. You should have this all copied down, ready to go. We need to borrow from 93. Now remember, we're taking 1 away from 93. So 93 minus 1 is 92. And the reason we took that 1 away is because we need to make it into a fraction to borrow here. Our denominators have to stay the same. So we're going to do 10 over 10, which is 1. 1 plus 92 is 93. That's how we got that, remember? Okay, so we're going to actually add this on here. 10 plus 5, we're only adding numerators. Okay, can you kind of see that? I know that I'm going to come over here because my thing is making it all weird. Okay. 10 plus 5 is 15. Only adding numerators. Denominator stays the same. Okay, then we're going to subtract the fractions. 8 stays the same because we're only fixing this one. We did not borrow from 87. Okay, so now we have 15 minus 8 over 10. Okay, carry your denominator so you don't forget it stays the same. 15 minus 8 is what? 7. Our new fraction is 7/10. Write this over here. Okay? Now let's subtract. Remember, we're at the 92. Okay, so 12 minus 7 is 5. Okay, remember, we're forgetting this. We're working with 92 now. I borrowed 1, made this 8. 12 minus 7 is 5. 8 minus 8 is 0. So we're just going to leave it 5, and 7/10 is your answer. Okay, if you go down to 4E, the green letter, 4E, just to review, this is how it's going to look on your Edmodo pages. You have to then copy it carefully. 16, look, there's decimals. Remember what you have to do with decimals? You always have to line the decimals up. Okay, 16.32 minus 0.87. So I'm just going to put the point directly under here so I know where to go. The 8 and the 7 go to the right of the decimal point. There's nothing on the left. We're subtracting. Okay, now you just drop your decimal down so you don't forget it and subtract like normal. Okay, 2 minus 7, we need to borrow. Make that 12 minus 7 is 5. Okay, 2 minus 8, we can't do it. Borrow. 12 minus 8 is 4. 5 minus nothing is 5. 1 minus nothing is 1. Okay, go ahead and pause, copy that work into your book, and press play to do our last problem. Okay, I'm going to move this over so you can see this side. Okay, these are, I have to move that out because it's up high. Right here. These are two fractions, okay? This is how it looks on Edmodo. I am now on page number 254, 5C. 254, number 5, letter C. Okay, These are my fractions that you'll see on Edmodo. Here's how you copy it down onto your paper. 8 over 11. So you take that fraction the way it's written and you do it like you're used to. Okay, 8 is your numerator, 11 is your denominator. Okay, we're still multiplying. And then our next one, this is the fraction bar, remember? So 5 is our numerator, it comes first. And 40 is our denominator, it comes last. Okay, so that's how you take what you see on Edmodo and put it to how your brain works. Now, to multiply, always see if you can cancel first. Can you, when you cancel crisscross like the multiplication symbol. 11 and 5, do they have anything in common? They don't. 8 and 40? Yes. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 40 divided by 8 is 5. Okay? So we canceled that out. Now whenever we multiply, we just multiply straight across. Remember? So 1, our new number 1, times 5 is 5. 11 times, our new number is 5. 11 times 5 is 55. Right? Now, can we reduce that fraction? Sometimes when you cancel, you'll still have to reduce, but it's a lot easier to reduce a cancellation than a pure number. So, 5 and 55. I already know that 5 goes into 55 11 times because that's an easy multiplication. So I'm just bringing things down here to show you. To reduce, you have to divide the top number the same thing you divide the bottom number by. Okay, so they're both divided by 5, top and bottom. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 55 divided by 5 is 11. Our answer is 1 over 11. Again, that was number 5C on page 254, so I want you to pause and copy this down before you move on to do your rest of homework. I know this is a longer video, but I hope that helps. I know that we're still unsure of how to do this stuff really fast with our fractions when you're entering it into Edmodo. Okay, this is what your fraction looks like if you're entering the answer. You're going to do 1, do that slash fraction bar, no spaces, and then just do 11 after, okay? It's almost as if you just kind of turned this a little bit, okay? So there you go.